Welcome to Learning Path 4, Implement a Secure Continuous Deployment using Azure Pipelines. In this learning path, we'll explore how modern deployment strategies can transform the way that we deliver software. We're going to discover why deployment is more than just releasing code. It's about choosing the right patterns like blue, green, and canary releases to minimize risk and maximize reliability. We'll dive into progressive exposure techniques, feature toggles, A/B testing, and showing us how to roll out changes safely and gather feedback. Along the way, we'll learn how to integrate identity management, secure applications and configurations, and use tools like Azure Key Vault to protect secrets. And by the end, we'll be equipped to manage deployments confidently and automate security and keep our environments resilient and agile. Hello and welcome to the Introduction to Deployment Patterns. I'm Andrew Conniff, a technical trainer at Microsoft, and in this video, we'll introduce deployment patterns. Let's dive right in. Continuous delivery is much more than just releasing software. It's about building confidence in every step of the development process. Before code ever reaches production, teams focus on safe coding practices through testing and thoughtful architecture. One of the biggest challenges comes from these monolithic applications where everything is tightly connected and dependent. These monoliths can slow down delivery and make updates risky, so breaking them into smaller, manageable pieces like microservices helps teams move faster and adapt more easily. Microservices architecture is a modern way to design software systems by breaking the application into smaller, independent services, each responsible for a specific business function. Instead of building a large, tightly connected monolithic system, microservices allows us to create small modules like user interfaces, business logic, and integration services that work together but can be developed, deployed, and scaled independently. This approach makes the overall system more flexible and easier to maintain. Microservices communicate through well-defined interfaces, exchanging information without being tightly coupled. This means that we can update or replace parts of our application without affecting the whole system, supporting faster development cycles and improving reliability. If one service fails, others keep running. Classical deployment patterns organize the software release process into distinct environments like dev, test, staging, and production. Each environment serves a specific purpose. Developers build and experiment in dev, testers validate changes in test, staging simulates the production environment for final checks, and production is where the live application runs for end users. This classical approach helps teams catch issues early and ensures smooth, safe deployments, but also has some challenges. So let's talk about modern deployment patterns that have transformed how organizations release software. These approaches like blue-green deployments, canary releases, dark launching, A/B testing, ring deployments, and feature toggles are designed to make releases safer, more flexible, and more responsive to user needs. Unlike traditional methods, these patterns help teams minimize risk, test new features with real users, and quickly roll back changes if needed. Think of these patterns as a toolkit for modern DevOps teams. Each method offers unique benefits, whether it reduces downtime, gathers feedback, or gradually exposes new features. Now let's talk about implementing blue-green deployment and feature toggles. So blue-green deployment is a modern release strategy that helps teams automate applications with minimal risk and zero downtime or near zero downtime. The idea is simple. You have two identical environments, one blue, live in production, let's say, and one green for staging or the new version that's coming out. When you're ready to release the update, we deploy to the green environment, test it thoroughly, and then we swap the traffic from blue to green. The swap is seamless, so the user experiences no interruption, and we can easily roll back if something goes wrong. The step is recommended to be the last step in any deployment pattern. Deployment slots are a powerful feature in Azure App Service that let you set up multiple environments like staging and production and swap between them seamlessly. This means that you can test new versions of your app in a real-world setting before making them live, ensuring that everything works as expected. When you're ready, you simply swap the environments and the users experience zero downtime because traffic is redirected smoothly with no dropped requests. Feature toggles, also known as feature flags, flippers, or switches, are mechanisms that let you separate the deployment of a feature from its actual release to the user. This means that we can deploy new code to production without immediately exposing new features, giving control back to the business on when to activate those features. Feature toggles are especially useful for enabling A/B testing, canary releases, dark launching, and they provide a flexible alternative to managing multiple branches in version control. Another benefit of feature toggles is agility. You can change application behavior instantly without redeploying, making it easier to experiment and respond to feedback. And the feature toggles empower our teams to roll out changes safely, test new ideas with select users, and reduce risk by allowing quick rollbacks if needed. They're a key tool for modern DevOps teams aiming for continuous delivery and rapid innovation. As discussed, feature toggles are powerful tools. They control how and when features are released, but they come with responsibility, and that comes in the form of maintenance. If we leave toggles in a code base after they're no longer needed, they become technical debt, extra complexity that can slow down development or introduce bugs. Best practice to remove feature toggles as soon as their purpose is fulfilled, keeping our code clean and manageable. There are different types of toggles, such as release toggles, operations toggles, permission toggles, and experimentation toggles, each with its own lifespan and level of dynamism. Understanding which toggle needs to be short-lived and which can persist longer helps teams avoid unnecessary clutter. By actively managing and retiring toggles, you ensure your deployment process stays agile and your software remains reliable. Now let's talk about canary release and launch darkly. A canary release is a deployment strategy where the new feature or update is rolled out to a small targeted subset of users before being released to everyone. This approach lets them gradually test changes in a real-world environment, ensuring that any issues are caught early without impacting the entire user base. Typically, canary releases use feature toggles, traffic routing, and deployment slots to control which users see the new feature. The goal of canary releases is testing the backend and risk reduction. If something goes wrong, only a small group is affected, making it easier to roll back or fix the problem quickly. The strategy is especially useful for organizations that want to innovate rapidly while maintaining reliability. By targeting specific user segments, teams can gather feedback, monitor performance, and confidently scale up to the deployment once everything works as expected. Azure Traffic Manager is a powerful tool that helps control how requests from web clients are distributed to your apps in Azure App Service. Within an app service, Traffic Manager routes traffic between deployment slots, enabling you to manage failover and load distribution. This means we can deploy updates to a slot and gradually move traffic over, ensuring a smooth transition and minimizing the risk to our live applications. In our DevOps pipelines, we can set the percentage of traffic easily using tasks or actions. And why is this important? By using Traffic Manager, teams can deploy new features or versions with confidence, knowing that the requests will be handled efficiently and users won't experience downtime. It's especially useful for organizations practicing continuous delivery as it supports gradual rollouts and quick failovers. This approach helps maintain high service availability and gives us the flexibility to test changes in production without impacting all our users. Dark launching is a modern deployment technique where new features are released to production but only exposed to a limited set of users, sometimes not visible at all. The main goal is to observe how users respond to these features without making them widely available or drawing attention. Unlike canary releases, which focus on back-end testing and gradual rollout, dark launching is all about quietly assessing user reactions and gathering feedback before a full launch. Often users don't even realize they're helping test something new, and this approach is especially useful for organizations that want to minimize risk and ensure new features work as intended before a broader release. By monitoring usage and collecting data from a small group, teams can make informed decisions about fixing issues and improving the overall user experience. Dark launching helps deliver innovation safely and effectively in a fast-paced development environment. A/B testing is a powerful experiment used to compare two or more variations of a feature or application by randomly showing them to different users. The goal is to use statistical analysis to determine which version performs better for a specific conversion objective, such as a user engagement or sales. This method helps teams make data-driven decisions about which changes actually improve the product rather than relying on guesswork or intuition. A/B testing has the ability to minimize risk while maximizing impact. By testing new ideas on a subset of users, and organizations can gather real-world feedback and confidently roll out successful changes to everyone. Ring-based deployment is a modern approach to releasing software updates in stages using rings to represent the different groups of users. In a CI/CD pipeline, changes are first deployed to a small group, often called canaries or early adopters, before gradually rolling out to larger groups and finally all users. This staged rollout lets teams monitor performance and catch issues early, reducing risk and ensuring smoother release processes. As you can see, combining these patterns is a very powerful strategy. By using patterns together in meta patterns, we get powerful performance from our deployments like ring deployment. Let's go to a demonstration and see how some of these features work. Let's use our eShop on web application to show how Azure app configuration works. Note the message showing no results. And let's start with creating an application configuration resource. We'll add all the required fields like resource group, a name, and location. Next, we need to create permissions between the application and our configuration resource. In our access controls, we applied the appropriate roles to our identity. And the one we're looking for is the app configuration data reader role. So let's review our website again. And then in app configuration, let's create a configuration value. Configurations are key value pairs, so let's add a key. And then we'll add a value for our message. Back on the web page, we can see the updated message from our configuration. Now let's add a feature flag for a weekend sale message on our website that we can turn on and off. Feature flags have a name and key. In this case, the enable checkbox is a Boolean value. We could also use filters that respond to data changes in the application dynamically. And here we see our weekend sale is on. To change it back, we would just disable the flag in app config. If you'd like to go deeper and run the AZ-400 lab exercises using your own accounts and subscriptions, you can find the self-paced labs on GitHub at Microsoft Learning /mslearn-devops. And if you prefer structured guidance, you'll also find options for instructor-led AZ-400 training with live labs and expert instruction on Microsoft Learn at the AZ-400 course page. This concludes our session. There are many ways for you to continue your learning journey. We encourage you to watch the other videos in this course or search out your next favorite topic on Microsoft Learn at aka.ms/learn.